You sit across the desk. The room is sterile. The attorney does not offer condolences. He offers a ledger. The number at the bottom is $84,000, not an asset, a liability. You wait for the transfer. You expect the safety net, the suburban house, the generational wealth. You expect the architecture to function the way you were taught. The pen stops tapping. The attorney slides the paper forward. He does not look at you. He looks at the balance. Inheritance is not a privilege. In this system, inheritance is a liquidation event. The ledger must balance, and the mechanism requires a new debtor. You are 25. The spreadsheet blurs. Your checking account holds $843. You do not panic. Panic requires a lack of options. You believe you have options. You work a dead-end role. You process data. You collect a paycheck. After taxes, rent, and basic survival, the remainder is negligible. You take the standard 3% cost of living increase. Inflation runs at 4%. Your purchasing power erodes silently. You do not notice. You spend the rest. You assume the future is already funded. Your parents own a 4-bedroom house in the suburbs. You grew up in it. You mentally appraise it every Thanksgiving. $500,000 in equity, sitting there, waiting. You treat that equity as your own personal insurance policy, the ultimate safety net. It justifies the low salary. It justifies the $843 balance. It justifies the lack of urgency. The wealth is generational. You just have to wait for the transfer. You do not study the tax code. You do not understand compound interest. You rely on biology to eventually process the transaction. You assume inheritance is automatic, a seamless handover of capital from one generation to the next. You believe the system protects the middle class. You do not calculate the carrying costs of aging. You do not read the fine print of Medicare. You look at the house and see a vault. You do not see the leverage. You do not see the risk. You are playing a game with rules that changed 3 decades ago. The system does not reward passive waiting. It penalizes it. The safety net is a relic. The suburban house is not a vault. It is collateral. You spend your 20s waiting for a door to open. You do not know the system burned the house down years ago. Year 3. You are 28. The funeral concludes. The grief is standard. The financial reality is clinical. You sit with the executor and the attorney. The attorney charges $450 an hour. He bills you for the time spent breaking your illusions. He does not offer comfort. He offers a sequence of legal facts. The suburban house is gone, liquidated. The proceeds did not flow downward. They flowed upward. Medicaid estate recovery. End-of-life care. 3 years in a facility at $11,000 a month. The math is brutal. The facility extracted every dollar of equity before the heart monitor flatlined. The medical apparatus requires constant capital. Your parents traded their largest asset for an additional 36 months of survival. The final balance transferred to your name is $0. You process the number. The safety net never existed. The generational wealth was a temporary holding account for the healthcare sector. But the system is not finished. A zero balance is a missed opportunity. The system requires yield. The attorney slides a second folder forward. An admission form from 3 years ago, the day of the stroke, the day of the panic. You were rushing. The hospital administration handed you a clipboard in the emergency room. They pointed to a line. You signed it. You wanted them to start the procedure. You did not read the terms. You did not sign as a family member. You signed as the financial guarantor, the responsible party. You legally attached your future earnings to a dying person's medical debt. You provided the ultimate collateral, yourself. The remaining unpaid balance is $84,000. It is no longer an estate problem. It is your problem. The hospital already wrote it off. They sold the debt to a collection agency for pennies on the dollar. The agency does not care about your grief. They care about the yield. The penalty rate is 18%. The interest compounds daily. Your $843 checking account is now facing an $84,000 liability. You thought you were inheriting an asset. You inherited a deficit. The system weaponized your loyalty. It commodified your panic. Blood is thicker than water, but collection invoices are thicker than blood. You are 32. The illusion is completely eradicated. You do not wait for doors to open. You take on a second job. You work weekends. You redirect every spare dollar, not to build wealth, to service the 18% penalty. You run the amortization schedule. The numbers are indifferent to your exhaustion. You send $1,200 a month to the collection agency. Most of it covers the interest. The principal barely moves. You are a yield-generating asset for a private equity firm that owns the debt portfolio. You wake up every day and mine capital for people you will never meet. The collection agency reports to the bureaus. Your credit score plummets. You cannot secure a mortgage. You cannot lease a reliable vehicle. The $84,000 debt acts as a gravitational pull. It drags down every other financial metric in your life. You pay higher premiums on car insurance. You pay higher deposits for basic utilities. The system charges you a premium simply for being trapped inside it. You attempt to negotiate. You call the agency. You speak to a representative earning minimum wage to enforce a corporate mandate. They offer a settlement, a lump sum you do not possess. The negotiation terminates. The 18% clock continues ticking. Every paycheck is heavily taxed at the W-2 level. The government extracts its share before the capital reaches you. Then the collection agency extracts its share from the net amount. You exist on the margins of your own labor. You are a conduit. Money flows through your hands. It never stops. It moves upward to satisfy the legal architecture you unwittingly activated. You stop attending social events. You stop taking vacations. You do not feel anger anymore. Anger is inefficient. Anger consumes energy required for debt service. You operate on pure, cold mechanics. You are servicing a liability you did not consume. You understand the architecture now. The system is perfectly optimized. It transfers wealth from the uninformed to the structured. Your parents were uninformed. You were uninformed. The hospital and the debt buyers were structured. They secured their downside. You signed away yours. You become a machine. You process payments. You manage the deficit. You are executing a life sentence of financial extraction. The debt outlives the patient. The system successfully reassigned the liability to the next generation without interruption. There is no reset button. There is no bailout for the individual. You do not beat the system. You just manage the terms of your surrender. The ledger remains balanced. The machine does not care whose name is on the invoice. It only demands the payment. The camera leaves you. You are functioning exactly as designed. The focus shifts. 20 miles away, another suburban lawn, another funeral gathering. A 22-year-old cousin stands near the driveway. He scrolls on his phone. He opens a banking app. The screen displays a $600 balance. He does not panic. He looks at the 4-bedroom house. He mentally appraises the property. He estimates the equity. He assumes the wealth will transfer seamlessly. He believes the safety net is real. He is waiting for a door to open. He does not see the architecture. He does not know the medical invoices are already compounding. He does not know the collection agencies are already pricing the risk. The liquidation cycle requires fresh capital. The machine requires a new guarantor. The ledger is preparing a new deficit. The system never stops. It simply waits for the next generation to sign the paper.